Alright guys, Supreme Kami here. So yesterday when we talked about the Hybrid gonna be released for Season 3, they also made some adjustment for Season 3 as well. So this is gonna be effective on February 1st. So let's kind of take a look and see what's going on. So here we are. Okay, so let's see what kind of adjustment they have kind of put forward into these units over here. So adjustment for existing units. So right off the bat, we have the adjustment for the Zakuta Range. This is actually a buff. All right, so they have a what have they add? So after you use a skill, the smoke discharge, you are gonna be able to gain 1 bar of boost gauge. Are you kidding me? They're making this unit even more sneakier by adding that. Wow. So this unit is pretty much you go in, you use your machine gun, and then you get out. You pop that, you get out. Wow. Yeah, it's gonna be really hard to kind of chase down this unit now after they pop this. And they're saying why they did that, because the usage rate and win rate is low. That's why they're making it more improving the mobility and survivability. I mean, like when I play against Zakuta Range, I usually get melted down like ASAP. So I don't know, unless I mean, like they're probably targeting like all spectrum of player levels or like skills, right? So you definitely have players like me that sucks. So I think this is definitely something that should be helpful. It definitely encourages people to use it. So that's the point. But my gosh, that's powerful. Up next, they have made a massive improvement, I think, for the Ashmore. Same thing. I think the usage rate for the Ashmore is lower than some of the other medium range unit. I don't know. I think I do see a fair amount of Ashmore users. So I mean, like their data definitely speaks for itself. So there's 2 changes to this one. The charge to shot, which is actually one of the worst from the overall sets. So this one is getting a from 11 seconds cooldown to 7 seconds. I think this is definitely very impactful. So that's pretty good, because that right click always feels so empty. Like you click it, but the damage is not really what you expect. So okay, that's definitely really good improvement. And then the napalm grenade, okay. From 17 to 22, so 5 more ticks or 5 more damage ticks. So that's actually might be very helpful in a situation where you just have that group enemy, drop it and like on them, and yeah, that should be still very powerful. Like it's really good, right? Don't get me wrong, like it's really strong. So I think having these 2 changes may incentivize people to use it, especially I don't know how this one will be if only they would have increased the damage. Oh, this would have been really good, but we'll definitely have to see how that works after the update is implemented. And then as for the turn A, yes. All right, so turn A Gundam is getting a nerf here. So the overhead throw is going to be reducing damage from 400 to 250, which is actually, I guess, is kind of needed, because after you use this combo, then you go into your beam rifle. That is pretty much like a one single combo. So I think they definitely make the right decision, especially those really skillful turn A players. They can definitely just hop around and just bop you and then beam rifle you. So that's good. Yeah. All right. That's definitely really good. What is it? So the burst damage from the overhead throw and the beam rifle is high. So this adjustment will be made to give unit in 800 range more time to break. Yes. Even I'm not the most skillful player for turn A, I think there's one occasion where I was able to 1v1 a Barbados, right? A melee central unit, and I won because I got the overhead throw and then I just beam rifle into Oblivion. So alright, definitely not good for turn A players, but definitely really good for any unit like this set again that has a less amount of HP threshold. Alright. And then Jim is getting yet another buff. So Jim is more like this says it's gonna be anti-melee units. So they made a unit to have a little bit more health, so that's pretty good. So 800 to 900, and then the shield bash is gonna be getting an additional 300 distant knockback. All right. So the skill animation will be slightly lengthened, and the animation will play through until the end, even if it's hit early. So I don't know. Oh, so this portion may be a nerf, so you can't really do any cheesy way to cancel the animation. Is that what they're trying to kind of talk about right here? But I think overall it could still be impactful, right? I never really played gym like that, but I think having the higher HP with the shield, I think is fairly good, especially when they say to counter melee unit. So, alright, so gym players is definitely really happy about that. And then Marisa is probably getting one of the more heavier debuff or just nerf right here. So the Sea Snake, so this one is getting a higher or lower cooldown from 10 seconds to 6 seconds, but the damage drop from 350 to 10. Wow. Wow. Is this the one that kind of hooks into the enemy and drags them back in? Is that what it is? Because I never actually used this myself, so I think that's what it is, right? If that is, wow, that's pretty devastating for Marisa users. The beam blade now does less damage, but it says a more of the knockback distance, and then by a 0.1 seconds stun duration. I don't know how effective that 0.1 is. Maybe it's effective, but who knows. In terms of the the Sea Snake Shock, the activation threshold is so it's better now. I mean, like, I don't really know the gibberish of the Marisa because I never actually use it. So you guys can definitely let me know overall, is it a nerf or is still fairly usable? So I don't know if I will actually unlock this. Like, Marisa was actually something I was planning to unlock in a way, but I never got around to it. And then Mahiro. So Mahiro is getting yet another adjustment because both the damage and the winning rate has been lower or was lower, or just lower than expected. So the grenades, oh, wow, okay. Like I said again, this is not a unit that I have used, but I have seen Marisa being used correctly and is actually quite powerful. So I expect this one to be a fairly good of an improvement overall, just having those distance increase. And up next, melee Zaku 2, probably one of the more polarizing units. It's good to have in your team, and then it's bad when you're playing against them. So I think overall they're making it better, but they're trying to nerf it in a sense. I think that's what they're saying. So the Xeon Rage is the points required is higher, but in terms of these, they're buffing it. So yeah. So what's the point? Why? I don't know. I don't use melee Zaku myself either, so you guys can definitely let me know this portion as well. I mean, I see these, like, these could potentially be very deadly. So yeah, and last but not least, for the unit adjustment, we have the new Gundam's beam rifle. So the movement speed will no longer be reduced during the new Gundams using its sub action. So I think they're doing that because due to its overall size is being big. So it takes a lot of hits, so they're aiming to reduce the rate at which it gets hits by increasing the movement speed. Alright, I definitely have to test it out. Yeah, I'll definitely say New Gundam is one of the taller units, so obviously it does get targeted quite frequent, just like the overall unicorn, like the full armor unicorn is. So we'll definitely have to see how that works. And then some of your other adjustments, just, you know, some other of the gameplay adjustments. So I'm not gonna spend too much time to talk about this one. I think the biggest change in terms of the other, like the gameplay aspect, is the matchmaking. So it talks about that there's 4 different regions. You have Japan, Asia, North America, and then Europe. So what they're doing now, they're merging Japan and then Asia, and then North America and Europe are going to be in one group. So now it's going to be down to 2 kind of like matchmaking regions over here. There's 2 ways to look at this. I think is either the first one is like there is a decrease in players, so that's why they are doing this to lead into the second point where it's going to be easier to kind of get people in your lobby. I think that's what it is. I don't know if the paying issue is going to be a problem, because we talk about North America into Europe, it wouldn't be that bad. It shouldn't lag all that much. So I think overall it's good, but it just kind of, I don't know if it's concerning the fact that maybe there's just less people playing the game now compared to when it was first launched. Who knows? But that's just kind of how I see it. You guys can definitely let me know your thoughts about. I think this one overall is still very impactful, right? And then you have your some of the ratings adjustment for master players. So not something that would concern me personally, but definitely should be concerning to some of the other players. But other than that, that is pretty much for the season 3 balance adjustments. So overall, I think it does bring a lot of things to the table, making these unit different. It's gonna be different to play them now. But other than that, that's it for me, and then we catch you guys on the next one.